What's going on, everybody? Victor here with a brand new video, and this is the week of UFC 279, which is going to be taking place via Las Vegas, Nevada. Finally back in Sin City for a pay-per-view. It's been a while since we've been there, just because the UFC's been traveling all over the place for crying out loud. But the UFC is finally back in Sin City, and it is going to be a great card. The main card is stacked. The prelims are stacked. The whole entire card is stacked. One of the fights I really want to talk about is going to be taking place in the light heavyweight division. I'm talking about Johnny Walker, who's 18-7, 15 knockouts in his career, versus Ian Cuțelaba, who's 16-7-1 with 12 knockouts in his career. That's 27 knockouts altogether. So both these individuals are no strangers when it comes to finishing off their opponents, but both these guys are in a little bit of trouble because both of them have only won one fight in their last 5 fights altogether. That is a huge problem, especially when you're fighting in such a stacked division, such as the light heavyweight division in the UFC. Both these individuals need a win, and very badly. When Johnny Walker got into the UFC, he won 3 straight right off the bat. One of those was against Misha Serkinov, who was ranked very highly at that time. Another one was against Khalil Roundtree, who was very well known in the UFC as well. And he ended up getting a fight against Corey Anderson, who's now with Bellator, and he's about to fight for the light heavyweight championship of the world in that promotion at that time when Corey Anderson was there. As a result, Corey Anderson ended up beating Johnny Walker and exposing him to the whole entire division. Because at that time, Johnny Walker was a powerhouse. He was KOing opponents left and right. And when he ran into that brick house that we call Corey Anderson, he ended up realizing what the reality was in this division. So it's extremely hard. You basically just can't underestimate anyone. And as a result, he ended up getting knocked out by Corey Anderson in the first round. Ever since that knockout against Corey Anderson, he hasn't been the same. Like I said, he's been beaten by the likes of Thiago Santos. He ended up getting beat by Jamal Hill. He ended up getting beat by Misha Serkinov. Not Misha Serkinov, but Nikita Krylov. And it's just been a very bumpy road ever since that KO loss to Corey Anderson for Johnny Walker. And he's still trying to find his niche. You know, he's been bouncing around from different gyms. He's been over in SBG Ireland for a couple years now. And it doesn't really look like it's working for him too much because he's still showing a lot of those holes in his game. And he's also still committing to mistakes. You know, he's still very awkward. He's got that herky-jerky movement. His head is basically there for the taking, and his defense hasn't really improved, which is why he's been losing these fights, because he has 7 losses in his career, and 4 out of the 7 losses have been by KO, which is not good at all. And he's going to be facing another powerhouse in this division, whose name is Ian Cuțelaba. Ian Cuțelaba, who's only won 1 in his last 5, but he's lost to good individuals in the UFC. He's lost to Magomed Ankalaev twice. He ended up losing to the former champion Glover Teixeira in a very back and forth fight that he could have won. Also lost to Ryan Spann, who Johnny Walker actually knocked out via TKO when those two individuals fought. So both these fighters have been up and down within their respective UFC careers, and both these guys really do need a win. But if you ask me who I'm worried about the most when it comes to this competition, I'm going to say it's Johnny Walker. Just because if there's one thing about Ian Cuțelaba is that he loves to be annoying. He loves to be pesky. He loves to get it under his opponent's skin. And as we all know, Johnny Walker is usually a nice guy. He's always cheery. He's always walking around with a big smile on his face. But I feel like Ian Cuțelaba is the one individual that can be able to get underneath his skin and really be able to make Johnny fight angry and open up even more holes in his game. But Ian is a very powerful individual, and he loves to pour the pressure on no matter what. He loves to move forward as fast as possible, and he loves to look for those knockout blows, whether it's landing elbows or landing straight right hands. He is a complete monster. That's why they call him the Hulk. The individual is something to be afraid of, especially when he's on his A game. Johnny Walker, coming into this fight, he's going to have to use a lot of head movement. You can't be herky-jerky. You got to move around the whole entire time. You can't stand still for at least 1 second. You're going to have your guard. You're going to have your guard up the whole entire time, especially when you're dealing with a pressure fighter of the likes of Jan Cuțelaba. You're going to want to use your defense as much as possible and get away from the cage, because there's one thing about Jan Cuțelaba: he loves to get into that body lock. He loves to pin you against the fence of the octagon. He likes to work some dirty boxing in there and definitely hit you with some nasty elbows. And whenever he gets the chance, he'll also hit you with some knees as well that can be able to rock you. Also, if I'm Jan Cuțelaba, I'm definitely not really worried about anything, especially when it comes to the ground game of Johnny Walker, just because Johnny Walker isn't really well known for being a submission specialist. That's why he has so many knockouts in his career, because it barely ever really goes towards the ground. And another thing about Johnny Walker is that he's been in trouble for the majority of the fights that he's been in with the UFC. He has been rocked plenty of times. When he fought Ryan Spann, it looked like he was going to lose that fight, but he's able to get his wits back to him and defeat him via ground and pound TKO. Also, one thing about Johnny Walker as well is that even though he's been getting knocked out as of late, he ended up going 5 full rounds against Thiago Santos, who was a former title challenger in the division. So it depends on which Johnny Walker is going to show up to this fight. Is he going to be the Johnny Walker that ended up winning 3 straight, getting into the UFC, or is he going to be the Johnny Walker that ended up losing basically 3 in a row after that knockout loss against Corey Anderson? Jan Cuțelaba, like I said, he's been facing some very tough opposition as of late, but I really want to see the Jan Cuțelaba that fought Devin Clark, because that was a nasty Jan Cuțelaba. He was going in there for blood. He was going in there to kill. He was going in there to get that W no matter what. That's the Jan Cuțelaba I really want to see going into this matchup. And if that Jan Cuțelaba comes into the octagon on Saturday night looking like that, especially with a sold-out crowd that's going to be on a main card and such a big pay-per-view, it's going to be bad news for Johnny Walker. But like I said, if I'm Johnny Walker, you're keeping the movement the whole entire time. You're not keeping your head still like this. You're moving no matter what. You're ducking. You're going to the left. You're going to the right. You don't want to be stationary. You want to keep the movement going no matter what. Also, I'm going to be blasting head kicks to be able to keep the distance. I'm blasting the jab as well. No matter what, you always want to throw a punch to be able to keep active and also to keep your opponent on his toes, make him guess what's coming next. That's what Johnny Walker has to do. He needs to be unorthodox, but like I said, not too unorthodox to the point where he's leaving openings for his opponent. He wants to keep his opponent guessing. He wants Ian to guess what is he going to do next. That's what made him so great in the beginning when he got into the UFC. That's what made him into such a threat. But the problem that I had with the UFC at that time is that they pushed Johnny Walker too far. They pushed him too fast. And as a result, this is what has happened, going up and down in such a stacked division. But Johnny Walker does have what it takes to get it done. So does Jan Cuțelaba as well. If you ask me who has the most power out of these two individuals, because both these individuals have a lot of power, it's going to be Jan Cuțelaba. If you ask me who's the faster opponent, it's going to be Johnny Walker. If you ask me who's the smarter one with more octagon IQ, it's got to be Jan Cuțelaba, even though he fights pretty ridiculous sometimes. The same thing goes for Johnny Walker as well. The reason why I give the Jan Cuțelaba is because Johnny, he just does some crazy things in there that can really cost him some fights. When he got knocked out by Jamal Hill, he even went down funny. That's the problem right there. You have to get all that out of your system. It's all good. It's all fun and games until you're in the octagon across from someone that wants to take off your head. And as a result, you need to be serious. You need to be laser pointed, pin focused on your opponent, because if you're not, it's definitely going to cost you another win. And this might be the last fight for one of these two individuals that have been losing consistently over the past couple of years. So this is definitely going to be a fight where both these individuals are going to be laser focused on one another, and they want to come out of this fight with a W. So I appreciate you guys for watching this fight. If you ask me who's going to win this fight, I believe it's going to be Jan Cuțelaba. I think he's going to pour on the pressure. I think he's going to pin Johnny Walker down to a corner, and I think he's going to get that knockout blow. If Johnny Walker does come in here and he does blast leg kicks, if he does keep the distance, if he is pumping the jab out, and if he does take this down to the ground, which I think is going to be his best chance of winning, then he does have a chance of winning. But we just haven't seen Johnny Walker use his jiu-jitsu, use his wrestling, use his grappling. We've barely seen that. But when Ian does it, he tends to knock his opponents out and finish them as fast as possible. So I'm going to go with Ion Cuțelaba. I believe he's going to get a knockout just because of the previous history of Johnny Walker. And of those 7 losses, 4 of those have been knockouts. I believe it's going to be a 5th one coming his way on Saturday night. Appreciate you guys for watching this video. Who do you think is going to win? Is Johnny Walker going to get a W? Is Ion Cuțelaba going to get a W? Both these guys coming off of losses. Both these guys basically up and down within their UFC careers. One of these individuals' careers might be on the line this Saturday. That's how important this fight is going to be for these 2 individuals. Appreciate you guys for watching. Who do you guys think is going to win? Johnny Walker, Ion Cuțelaba? Let me know in the comment section below. Take it easy, guys. Stay blessed. Later.